The capacitor foil jack module is used to detect which one of the leads of the capacitor is connected to the outer foil of the capacitor. Why is that important? Well, we have the symbol of a capacitor here, which are two plates and a dielectricum in the middle. The bigger the plates, the bigger the capacitor. Not very practical. So what they do, they cut it up in a long strip, like this one. This is a foil with, on each side, a conductive layer. It is wound up, and one lead is connected to the inner foil, and one lead is connected to the other foil. Why is it important to know which one is connected to the outer foil? Well, I design tube amplifiers. I will show a few examples soon. And what you want is the outer foil is very sensitive. It will pick up noise. So you want that connected to the low impedance output stage, and the inner foil, less sensitive, you want that connected to the high impedance input stage. So that's why we want to know which one is connected to the outer foil. Okay, this is one of the amplifiers I designed. 300B, a couple of mono blocks. 300B N tube, EL34 driver in triad mode, EF86 in triad mode, EM84 view meter, EA1891 as detector for view meter, GZ34 as rectifier, OLED display. There's an Arduino Nano inside which monitors the voltages, temperatures and bias currents. So entirely my design. I wound the transformers myself, not regular transformers, but they all use amorph cores. So one of the best sounding amplifiers, single-ended triode class A. Another amplifier, this one I completed this year. Again, two mono blocks. Push-pull design, ultra-linear, 6550 tubes, 60 watt each channel. ECC 81 and 83 preamplifier phase splitter, dual rectifiers, preamplifier rectifier tubes, all Philips NOS tubes, and the end tubes Svetlanas. Again, OLED display. This one has an ESP32 in it, monitors bias currents, voltages, etc. and temperatures. So all parts are made on my CNC, top and bottom aluminium. The hood as well, the casing as well, MDF, the two-layer inner frame and outer frame. Very nice sounding amp, lot of power. Let's turn it on. There are several methods of finding out which one of the leads is connected to the outer foil. I tested several of them and I selected two of them, and these are implemented in this tester. This capacitor, I use them a lot. These are made by Philips or Mullard, date from the 60s or 70s. Very popular. I use them in my tube amplifiers. Yeah, everybody wants them because of the golden sound of the tube amplifier of the 60s. But back then it was just a standard capacitor which used everywhere. Before that you had a tar capacitor. They were black, used up to late 50s, early 60s I think. The problem is the tar would dry out. You get micro cracks, you get moisture in, and you get leaky capacitors. So this is a different material that used to coat it. Very reliable, I never had to replace one. I still use some old stock that I have today in my amplifiers. So the next one they did is this one. Somewhere in the 70s they designed this capacitor, more suitable for automatic inserting in printed circuit boards, also known as tropical fish because of the nice color stripes. And then in the 80s they moved on to this type of capacitor, completely embedded in a kind of a plastic. It's similar to the other ones. It works the same, very reliable capacitors, very good sounding capacitor and amplifier. And they can handle larger voltages than the mustard cap, for example. So let me just hook one up. Before I start, the principle that I'm using is that there's a lot of noise in the environment. The mains wiring is 50 or 60 hertz. It's all over your house. And it's basically one big antenna. So your body picks it up and conducts it. So we're using that noise to test. So let me just start the tester. Now I'm going to just hold the capacitor. And you can see that one bar is higher, a little bit higher than the other. So I have three ranges here. Now it's on low range. I'm going to take the medium range, which gives us a bit of a better view. So you can see that the right bar is much higher than the left bar, which means that the outer foil is connected to this lead, the right lead. I have also a high gain range, mid-range more than enough. You can see a sign here on the side that's more sensitive. If I would switch it over, for example, you see that the left bar is higher than the right bar, right? So the sign here changes over. Now this automatically changes polarity and compares. There's a manual gain as well, so I can adjust the gain manually if I want to. So that's the basic setting. Just yep. So I'll take another one. Here we go. So you can see that the same thing, the left side. And on the capacitor itself, you see a line here. So that might indicate that it's connected to the outer foil. Not always correct, but in this case, it's correct. I have another mode here. I can switch on the scope. And then I can really look at the signals. There we go. So this one, for example, is very sensitive. So I don't need to touch anything. It shows up automatically, even on low range. So the right side will be connected to the outer foil. And if we look at the printing, there's indeed a mark on the right side. So that's an easy way to determine which one of the leads is connected to the outer foil of the capacitor. Look at the capacitor foil side tester. A front display, rotary encoder, potentiometer for a manual gain, connects to the capacitor. Not so much on the inside. ESP32, some relays, relay driver ULN 2003. This is a switch over relay, so it will switch over the polarity of the capacitor. Two more relays with some resistance to select the gain for the amplifier. A quad op-amp, GFET op-amp with high impedance input. One port is used as a buffer. One port is used as an amplifier with a selectable amplification. And one port is used to set the signal on a 1.6 volt bias. So the ESP32 is able to read it on this analog port. So that's about it. So one pot meter to adjust the bias. And that's basically it, the power. Yep, that's it.